Sanborani, Jimilang, Opsheni, hello, Goeiemorgen, Goeieaand, Molweni, wherever you are right now, whichever part of the day you find yourself, I hope you're well. Keeping track of those thoughts and striving to be the highest and best version of yourself. Welcome to it. This is the Jules with Jim podcast, and I am your host, GiGi. Yes, before we get into it today, I'd like to say thank you to every single one of you who support me, whether it be through listening for a couple of minutes or even right through till the end. I appreciate you, because let's be honest, you don't have to, but I appreciate the fact that you do. So today I'm quite excited. The weather's looking great. I mean, we can see the sun after weeks and weeks of just cloudy weather and rain. We have a chance to experience the sun again, but also I will be talking about one of my favorite topics, and I need a drum roll, please. Today I will be unpacking astrology. So first things first. Astrology is the study of the positions of the stars and movements of the planets that have an influence on the events, lives, and behaviors of people. Now, of course, there is a huge misconception, and I am here hoping to decode some of the myths that we've all heard. I know, they're probably replaying in your mind, right? I would just like to actually discuss a part of astrology, which is the natal birth chart. And basically what this chart is, in simple terms, without getting too complicated, is guidance. It basically tells you all the elements within astrology, the cosmos that make up who you are, the path you need to be on, and the adversaries you will need to master to reach your highest potential, which is essentially your highest self. So imagine being in a forest and you're given a GPS. And that GPS tells you the dangers of the area, which are your challenges. And these are the tools that you can search for in that area to help you survive. That is essentially what a natal birth chart is. And naturally, my journey within spirituality, which to me means a journey towards becoming my natural and highest self, started when I was going through a crisis. I started looking up what they call conspiracy theories, and I got hooked into that. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Then I went over to religion, because some of the theories that were within conspiracy theories were actually based on religion. And then I went into spirituality, and that led me to astrology. So before I came into this knowledge, I found myself asking a lot of questions, especially things about my life and what is it that I'm supposed to be doing. And I mean, really, for me, it's just about knowing that we are so different and unique. How can we accept doing the same thing? How can we really be okay knowing that we are vastly different with doing the same thing every day, having the same path, working similar jobs, the same hours for some change? Like, it still makes absolutely no sense to me, and that's really what fueled me. That's what kept me going, and of course my insatiable thirst for knowledge. When I say I question things, I really mean it. I didn't understand how my purpose was being born, go to school, go to university, find the love of my life, we get married, have some kids, and enjoy the trip around the sun together while we subconsciously wait to die, and in between do mundane shit. No. I was like, there must be another reason to all of this. The same way an egg and sperm meet and make you and me, and how that process is so magical, surely there's magic to us as full-grown human beings. I needed to know. At some point, I actually got so impatient with myself. I would go through conflicting emotions constantly. And I mean, I already have a Gemini moon. I'll talk to you a bit later about that, which is already a paradox on its own. So just throw in this urgent need for wisdom, and I was literally spinning. And don't get me wrong, all of this entire process was actually a beautiful catharsis. It was like a beautiful breakdown, but it's also chaotic. But I think I couldn't comprehend why I would spend so much of my time experiencing life with other people when I wasn't really doing it for myself, in my own time, exploring my own thoughts. I mean, we already know that we come into this earth alone and we are going alone, so how can you not give yourself the opportunity to get to know yourself? But you're out here doing that for everybody else. That's all I'm saying. How can you go through life being the same person when you're destined for growth and possibly the opportunity to move on to another phase of life? Why would you want to reincarnate to experience the same things with different people and not learn from it? That was my logic. That was the way I was thinking at the time. And I'd never been really interested in being told what to do, especially by people, because honestly, if we're being honest, we're all just trying to make it through the day. I believe we all have free will. However, we all need some guidance at some stage in our lives. Some of us look to African spirituality, abanye bayatandaza, others of us read the Bible. And for me, astrology is just one of those sciences that helped me tremendously in understanding who I am, what I'm here to do, and figuring out the tools that I already possess to get there. When I think about life is a journey. It is not a destination. We are not all here to do the same thing. We are not all here to be driven to get the bag. How can we be driven to get the bag? How can all of us were just really born to just be driven and ambitious just to get the bag? What? There is no way. There is no way. There is just no way. It's about the mistakes. Life is about the mistakes and lessons we go through due to us learning the lessons we need to learn to become more enlightened when we take into account a particular experience and we actually learn the lesson. Life is about cycles, seasons, and I will use nature as an analogy. If you take a look at nature and how nature works, everything works just as well, even without any human interference. Well, in some cases, but I digress. Everything knows exactly what it should be doing, what time it is, and what is to happen next. And I believe this is the same about life in human form. The only constant really is change. How can we grow if we do not go through life's trials and tribulations? How can we grow if we refuse to change our mindsets and be free? How can we truly learn from something if we have not learned the lesson? The same way the planets revolve and move, the key word here being move around the sun, is the same way we need to move, shift, and change around life and experiences that it throws at us. The same way we get a birth certificate in hospital is the same way we have a natal birth chart. It is a gift from the cosmos, really. And now that I think about it, I suppose that's where the concept even came from. Have you ever asked yourself where the concept of a birth certificate actually came from? And I'm pretty sure that, everything that we have come to know has probably an origin dating back to the amazing cosmos. I wouldn't be surprised. And, a natal chart is just one of the many ways one can figure out the different types of energies that are dominant within you, or how to work with these energies and how to overcome your Satan. And I'm saying Satan because, Satan is known as adversaries or challenges. And now that I've given you sort of like a very brief explanation of what astrology is and what a natal chart is, let me give you a young breakdown of the astrological signs and the energy that they emit. You guys know what I'm saying. There are 12 star signs, as we all know. I'll give you a very basic introduction to all so that we can be on the same page. At some point, we will go deeper into understanding all of these energies. This is just a generic rundown of the signs, and they are in order as follows. Now, first up, you've got Aries. Now, when I think of Aries, I just think war. The first thing that I actually see is the color red. These people are constantly ready for action, very driven. They're very, very extremely passionate. They're like huge teddy bears, but they're so Martian in nature. Like, they just gotta be the best. These are the people that are the competitors. They can be a little bit impatient, are prone to being a bit selfish, and sometimes they do have massive egos. They just need to be on the lookout for that. And when I think about Taurus, well, Taurus is all about beauty. I think about grace, I think charm, I think well-mannered, dresses really well, smells great. Usually they're quite great cooks. I mean, they just love to eat in any case. And most of the time they really have nice bodies, can be a bit possessive. I actually have an experience with this because I had a best friend growing up. I'm a Capricorn, by the way. I had a best friend growing up, and she was a Taurus, and every time I tried to make new friends, it was always an issue. Every time that I'd want to spend time with them, it was always an issue. Yeah, no, you guys can be a bit of a problem, but definitely stubborn, and they just like nice things overall, just period. They are into nice things. They want to live a posh life. They want to be about that luxury, and they are about that dough. All right. Then we have Gemini, which are the babies of the zodiac. Some people actually think that Geminis are the babies of the zodiac. These people just be talking all day, every day. Even if it's with themselves, they quite they're so intelligent. I mean, these people have the ability to see things from both sides, and a lot of the time they get such a bad rep for this. A lot of people will call them two-faced or indecisive, and I have a Gemini moon, so most of the time I don't even get where these types of commentaries will be coming from, because I'm just like, because of the fact that I'm able to look at both sides of a situation, does that really make me two-faced? The fact that I'm still able to be neutral and look at both sides and still be empathetic to both, I'd like to think their energy is more of the devil's advocate, but still being neutral, if you know what I mean. So Gemini energy, quick-witted, intelligent. They are really, really funny, extremely funny. Most of the time, everything that they do is quite fast. They might type fast. They might talk with their hands quite fast. They might just generally just talk fast, and just most of the time just being misunderstood. That's Gemini energy for you. Next up, we've got Cancer. I love Cancers. They're very in touch with their emotions. They're such homebodies, which appeals to my Taurus ascendant. They're very, very fertile. I kid you not, I was working at a logistics company, and I was working from there from late 2017 until late 2019. And I kid you not, these two women were Cancers. They were both married, and they had 2 babies within that time frame that I just gave you right now. So, very fertile. And family is extremely important to them. They've got such a softness about them and such a feminine energy to them, especially the men, which makes them quite compassionate. And I don't know about you guys, but there's something really, really nice about a guy that's able to understand a woman's emotions, not to play with her and manipulate her, of course, but to actually just be genuine and just actually genuinely get it. They're also one of the most intuitive people, along with Scorpio and Pisces, and I can definitely appreciate them for that reason. Next up, we've got Leo. Oh my god, immediately when I think Leo, I just think flashing bright lights. Okay, I think sparkle baby sparkle, I think sprinkle baby sprinkle, I think socialites, I think fashion lovers, I think shopaholics, I think attention, I think flashy, I think big personalities. Leo is ruled by the sun, so naturally people gravitate towards their warmth. They kind of like give life to everything. And I hope there is no Leo that's listening to this, because they might just get a big head after just hearing that. But anyway, I digress. Leos are, if you've got any people that are Leos within your circle or within family, you will notice an energy about them usually and most of the time that they just exude this thing where they just have confidence. Some of the times it's spoken, but most of the times it's unspoken confidence that they just have. Like, they just draw people into them without them really having to do much. So that's definitely one thing that I can appreciate about Leo energy. It's really, really it's not really attention seeking. It by itself just seeks attention because it just is. Next up, we have Virgos. I love my Virgos. I actually know of 2 Virgos, one female, one male. These people are extremely intelligent. They have such an intuitive energy. I mean, if I'm telling my Virgo friend something and she's not feeling it, trust me, she is not feeling it. And I definitely want to know why she's not feeling it. But these are definitely your big thinkers, your hermits. I genuinely think that they often misunderstood, because especially the guys really have a feminine energy, which means that they, most of the time, they attract a lot of females into their lives, because they connect in ways with females that is generally misinterpreted by lovers, you know what I mean. So if you have a Virgo male around you, most probably they have a lot of female friends or a lot of female energy around them. Some of them can really be really close to their mothers, and I'm speaking specifically about the guys, but usually most of them can be a bit insecure. They're really prone to depression, and I think it's because of the fact that they have such an eye for detail that they critique every single thing. Like, they are their biggest critique. They don't need you to tell them that, you know, they could do this better. They already know that they should be doing it better, you know. When I think about Virgo energy, I was actually watching a video today, and I was watching Beyonce as she was talking about, you know, how hard she works, and how sometimes people just don't understand the fact that you need to do things over and over again to kind of get to the point where you want it at. You just want it to be so perfect and seamless, and such an amazing experience for the person who will be watching it. And obviously that requires a lot of practice, and that is what Virgo energy is really all about. But nonetheless, humble beings. I love them. Fellow earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, I love you guys so much. Next up is Libra. Now when I think of Libra, I just think chilled energy. I feel like these people are constantly high. They love to be balanced. I think a middle name for them is moderation, because everybody just loves them. They're so pretty and so handsome, and they just can't thrive in chaos. These people love being around people, and I don't really think it's because they are afraid to be alone necessarily. I just think if you think of the symbol of Libra, it's a scale, so you can't really have a scale on its own, right? Because then it won't be balanced. And what does Libra represent? It represents balance, serendipity. It represents tranquility, you know. So I don't think for them it's a thing of they can't be alone. They're just really into that energy. They're really into friendships. They're really into partnerships. They're really into romantic relationships. Whatever type of relationship, they're always striving for a balance. They're always striving to be on the same page with other people, because like I said, it's about balance. It's about understanding and comprehending where the other person is coming from, and still moving the ship forward. Because naturally, you know, any type of a relationship, any type of friendship, you know, it's a ship. There has to be some kind of movement, and you guys have to work together, obviously, to get it to a destination, right? Or at least for it to be a journey. It needs to be moving. Okay, I think you guys get where I'm going with that. And next up, we've got Scorpio. Immediately when I think of Scorpio, I just think powerful. I think determined. I think love or hate them. You know, these people they take my breath away with how deep they are. These are the people that are just, sometimes I say they lack balance, because they just go through extremes. Like, there is no black or white with Scorpio. It's either they love you, they hate you, they like you, or they don't. You're either a positive influence in their life or a negative influence in their life. These people know exactly how to use their power to their advantage. And sometimes people may consider it to be, you know, a little bit manipulative, and, you know, wanting to just always cause drama. But I think for them, it's just not being able to balance their energies. Because they're such passionate people, they feel everything so deeply. So hate will really be felt deeply, and love will really be felt deeply, and there's just no other way to be. There's no way to be neutral, because it's either you do or you don't with them. So, you know, and I also think of their energy also being a bit dark. And it's quite strange because I watched a video the other day and I found it interesting that the speaker was talking about how Scorpio doesn't really get much light, or not even Scorpio, Pluto rather, which is the ruling planet of Scorpio, doesn't really get much light because it's the furthest planet from the earth and from the sun. So naturally, because of this, they tend to have, dark tendencies. But I don't mean dark like in a bad way. I just mean like they tend to be a little bit secretive, standoffish. They don't really want people getting close to them. Most of the time they really have some severe trust issues, and they keep a lot of things just hidden. Maybe because they are hidden in the solar system. I don't know. You make of it what you will. Next, we've got Sagittarius. Now, immediately when I think of Sagittarius, I think the traveler, whether that be in mind or an actual literal traveler. These are the Dora, the explorers of the world. They love attention, but also love giving it to others. Quite philosophical. Literally on to the next one with these people. I love them so much because they genuinely and generally do learn through their experiences. For them, there's nothing that teaches them more than experience. And honestly, one can only appreciate this type of energy because in this world that we're living in currently, a lot of us don't really have the means or the resources to, follow the traditional route that everybody's following, like go to school and all of that jazz. But it's actually quite funny because Sagittarian energy represents, the law. So they're all about the law. They're all about politics. They're all about justice. They want things to be right. This is about morals. This house is about morals. This planet is about just doing the right thing. Although sometimes they may, get a bit caught up in the wrong things, but we live and we learn. But I love Sagittarian energy. I've got a stellium, which is more than 3 planets in one house, and I have it in the 9th house, which is ruled by Sagittarius. So I'm definitely philosophical. I'm definitely about the right thing. I'm definitely about law. I'm about judgment. I'm about higher education. I'm just basically about expanding my horizon. And when I say horizon, I mean my medulla, my brain. All right. Next up, we've got Capricorn. The song that comes to mind when I think of Capricorn is that song Work, 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 Work by Rihanna. Yes. These are the people that love status, okay? They love money, and I think their love of money really derives from an insecurity, really, because I found that a lot of Capricorns actually have had quite a tough childhood, so they don't have that safety net. For them, when they think about their childhood, it's quite traumatic for them, so it makes them feel insecure. So what they do is they take all of that trauma, all of those insecurities, and kind of fuel it into making sure that they are able to be secure within themselves, because let's be honest, we all need somebody that we can depend on, right? But Capricorns, for the most part, because they did not have that in their childhood, they strive to make sure that they're able to give themselves and others around them a really comfortable lifestyle, whereby if they swipe their card, they don't really have to worry about much, right? These are the most grounded people. A lot of the times we are quite nonchalant, we can be serious, but we are extremely goofy. And trust me, we hate asking for anything. We hate asking for help, period. We feel as though we should be the ones helping, so we are the bosses, so why would we want to, but I digress. Next up, we've got Aquarius. Now, these are the out of the box thinkers. I mean, for them, it's like, what box are you even talking about? Like, these are the non-conformists, the unorthodox people. Most of the times, these can even be your thrift shoppers. They will just be mad different in every single way. They are just not with the crowd. These are the people that are the epitome of humanitarian. They have such a helping spirit. It's not even funny. I love Aquarian energy because they are able to pour out love and wisdom and knowledge and everything that they have to offer basically to people, but still be able to, keep some for themselves, which is really an important balance. I mean, how many of us really pour out our love, our wisdom, our time, and every other resource that we have available to us to others, and our cups runneth dry. Our cups run dry because we're constantly giving and giving and giving. But the thing that I love about Aquarius energy is that they are able to be detached. So they can be loving, so loving, but also have an energy where they remain detached, where they can keep some energy, for themselves, or keep some love or wisdom or anything that they basically pour out, they need to keep for themselves. So that's really admirable, honestly speaking, because a lot of us, I myself included, I struggle with knowing when to how do I actually want to say this? Gift, how do you actually want to say this? Knowing the boundaries basically, and really enforcing those boundaries without being too emotional, or maybe even just basically losing the plot, if I can put it that way. Aquarius energy is amazing energy. You want that type of energy, especially when you're dealing with people, because people tend to take advantage. Okay, let's be honest, it's unfortunate, but it is the world that we are living in. Next up, we've got Pisces, last but not least. Now, these are the seers, the ones who go with the infinite flow, the ones who feel before they see. Emotions run extremely deep. And I actually not read an article, I was watching a video, and I think it's actually by Fernando, who's also a YouTuber. And he was just saying that Pisces is the symbol of perpetual suffering. And this could be in a good way, it could be in a bad way. Of course, I'm going to take it in a bad way, because I mean, perpetual suffering literally means suffering for infinity. Like, who wants to be suffering for infinity? But I think the way that he meant it was, he feels as though Pisces, actually these are based on facts, because Pisces are always caught in situations whereby they constantly have to sacrifice something, whether it be themselves, whether it be something that's really important to them. There's just so much loss and confusion that is attached to Piscean energy, and a lot of the time people don't understand that. I understand the Piscean energy because, I have Piscean energy. So it's literally like, how do you explain having access to the 3D world, which is the physical world which you and I live in, and then also having access to the 5D world, which not a lot of people have access to, So they are constantly in their head because nobody understands them, because they might even seem elusive to other people, because it's like they kind of tap in and out of this 3D and 5D realms all the time, because they know that they have to be present in the 3D realm, but also they're being called to the 5D realm, which the 5D realm is where they feel most comfortable. But unfortunately, they're not able to live there because, hello, we are in the physical world. So a lot of the times we need reality checks. But thank God for my Capricorn energy, which kind of helps to keep all that energy grounded. So you can see how it is virtually impossible to know of one sign, as we are all influenced by different energies. We are not just one-dimensional, one-size-fits-all type of beings. Like I mentioned before, I, for example, have a lot of Capricorn, Gemini, Pisces, and Aquarius energy. And this is exactly why I'm considerably different to most Capricorns. But let me break it down a bit further. Capricorn energy makes me understand why I can be so hardworking, why I'm so grounded, why I can be so practical. I mean, I'm literally if somebody comes to me with a problem, I'm just like, okay, I don't even want to know the problem, but obviously I need to listen to the problem in order to know how to solve it, right? But I'm literally like, okay, I listen to the problem, and I'm like, okay, what would be the best solution? Because we obviously need to get out of that problem, right? I mean, we don't want to remain in that problem. And then the Gemini influence helps me understand why sometimes I can be indecisive. And it's so funny, because when I'm working in groups, or when I'm leading a particular group, it's never difficult for me to know the right decision to take when I'm working as part of a team. But when it comes to me and sort of like the career path that I want to choose, sometimes a particular movie I want to watch, sometimes when I want to hear spiritual messages, it takes me forever to actually know what it is that I actually want to search for. I mean, guys, I have like over 100 tabs open on my phone. Like, it's quite bird. It's quite bird. It lets me know why I think so much, why I talk a lot. And then there's the Pisces energy, which lets me know why I feel things without even knowing why, without even having seen anything, why music touches me the way it does, and why I'll keep a particular song on repeat, because I just feel there's a certain part of the song that just didn't hit me, just didn't hit me, enough to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm enough now. Also, why I love to dance, and I love to dance alone. I don't know what it is. I just kind of like, I'll be sitting in the dark and I'll just literally put my earphones in and I'll put it on the maximum, volume, and just kind of like get lost in the music. And I will start dancing, because also Pisces rules the feet. So, anything to do with the feet, dancing, walking, that kind of a thing. And it also describes the part of me that can be such a hopeless romantic. Guys, I'm such a hopeless romantic, okay? Like, I don't want to get into that right now. Then there's Aquarius energy over here, which describes a part of me that is inclined to being an original. I just want to be unique. I love the truth. I just want to be independent. I want to be different. I'm literally just the fighter for the underdog, like a true humanitarian. And having come across astrology has enabled me to understand these things and more. It has been a journey to basically get my power back. When I think about it, our lives are movies, and we are basically here to create art. When we are born, we forget. I'm not even going to say we sometimes. No, we forget that we are gods and we are goddesses, and we have the power to change our lives. If you have the courage to face the roadblocks put in front of you, then you can ascend. You have all the gifts you need to overcome the roadblocks. As you learn and achieve growth, you get more power as well as a higher expression of self. I can go on and on and on how astrology has helped me, and mostly also made me become a better parent as well, because I've studied my son's chart and it was quite scary, because there are some aspects that are quite bad. Like, some aspects will represent trauma. Like, for example, if you've got Chiron in your fourth house, like, that would represent trauma within your childhood or within the home, or trauma with your parents, that kind of energy. But I digress. I was like, what, I actually just want to know so that I can be a better parent and try and work with the energies that he has. So I learned that my son has moon in Aries. So as moms, we're constantly worrying about our kids, and we want to make sure that their basic needs are being met. And I just think I put myself in a better position than I was before, just knowing the energies that influence him. Because with the moon in Aries, I have to allow him to be independent. I have to allow him to express his passions. I have to allow him to, do all of these things that are associated with Aries energy. Because if I don't, then I am stifling him. And if I'm stifling him, I'm stifling his growth, and he won't be able to evolve. So I trust that I have somehow managed to break down astrology for you and potentially spurred something within you to, sort of like do things differently and not be victims of dogma and social conditioning. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Look out for many more to come. Please do like, share, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss a beat. You know what to do. Now do what you do, and on that note, stay evolving, stay conscious, and stay real.